Thank you.
The duties of the chairman are quite clear. The duties of the vice chairman are what, ma'am?
I didn't hear you state a question, sir.
What are the duties of the vice chairman? Does the vice chairman have no duties?
Yes, the vice chairman would assume the duties of the chairman at such time that was determined necessary.
And you indicated that you had good communication with the chairman throughout the term of office.
No.
On tape, we played a clip, said that you had great communication, just like you had great communication with Eileen, who was in your new district.
No.
Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Rudrick has finds that there's no further questions. I would ask the secretary to reset the clock for 10 minutes. I have one question, a written question in hand from an SEC member. Are there any others that will be passed or passed forward? I have two now.
Do you want me to, does anybody else have a question? I'll start the clock once he's received them all.
This one more being worked on, and I will present these in the order they were given to me. And are there any written questions regarding Miss Debbie Brown from folks on the phone?
Yes. Renee.
I will take that as a no for written questions submitted by SEC members on the phone.
What is clarification?
Mr. Shattuck.
Those questions have to be in written format, or are we able to ask them?
You could text them to the secretary, I believe, as an appropriate manner. If they need to be communicated to the secretary. Is your phone tied up with a?
You know what? I got two of them. He can text me at 830-1006.
You can text Miss Julie Gillette at 863.
830.
I'm sorry, 830. Please repeat that number.
830-1006.
830-1006. Did you get that, Mr. Shattuck? Okay. With that information in hand, I have three official written questions. I will read them in order when we start the 10 minutes, and there's just a total time period set aside for these questions, and we'll get to the questions that go
Ms. Brown has one witness she would like to call. She anticipates taking an additional 3 to 4 minutes, so we'd move for an additional 3 to 4 minutes to hear her witness.
There has been a motion from the floor, or from the Ms. Brown legal counsel. Is there a second from, and I'll repeat the motion. Mr. Wayne Anthony Ross has asked that they are allowed an additional 3 minutes to 3 to 4 minutes to present another official witness. It takes a second from an elected SEC member to approve that motion, non-debatable.
I might second it if the motion included equal opportunity for both sides.
Oh, I can't object to it anyway. That's fine.
Point of clarification, Mr. Chair.
Just a minute.
All right, so our attorney and
Clarification, Mr. Chair.
one moment, Mr. Rex Shattuck. The attorney has just informed me that we need to do a fixed time, so I'll say the motion is 3 minutes.
Say 4.
Okay, we'll make the motion for 4, but it also has to be provided equal time to the opposition for 4 minutes. Mr. Shattuck, would you like to present your clarification at this time?
Good, thank you. We're making a change to the agenda. Is that part of this procedure, or do we follow on our old rules which say something different? You're changing the agenda, are you not?
I am
As long as we
looking,
vote on it, that's fine.
Change the resolution.
yeah, to change the resolution. I think that's within the bounds of our authority as the SEC. At this time, so there's a motion on the floor. Is any elected SEC member would like to second that motion?
Mr. Chairman, just a clarification, since we're changing the rules here today, it's a 2/3 majority, is my understanding. I just want to clarify, or is it simple split?
One moment. Is Mr. Burt Balch still on the phone? So I'll repeat that. It requires a 2/3 majority or a majority of all members present. Is that correct?
No, not all members present, all members in office. Again, majority of all members in office.
Okay, even the non-elected?
No, the voting members.
Okay. So
Majority of the voting members, whether or not they're present.
okay, so it's a 2/3 majority of the,
Those present, or the majority of the total voting membership of the
okay.
member of
Mr. Wayne Anthony Ross is raising his hand with his question. I'll acknowledge Mr. Ross at the moment and ask that the rest of the audience be quiet, please.
If we can consider a motion to continue the entire matter to the next hearing, and we have not, why can't we continue in the area we're in for 3 or 4 more minutes, and that's a question for the parliamentarian.
So the parliamentarian responded that we can, with a second of an elected officer and a 2/3 vote, we can continue with the approval of the SEC.
But we didn't need a
Or a
2/3 vote.
majority of the entire membership, whichever is less.
Correct. So changing orders, so just so, do we have a second on this motion?
Restate the motion. Yeah, I'll second it. Steve Straight.
Okay, I'm going to restate the motion and acknowledge that there was a second, but the motion is that we allow Ms. Brown, counsel, or to introduce extend for 4 minutes, up to 4 minutes, to call a witness, to comment on her behalf, and also allow the complainant 4 minutes in time. And it has been seconded, that motion has been seconded by Mr. Steve Straight. And at this time, we will call for a roll call vote since we need a 2/3 majority. And I would ask if Ms. Julie Gillette is prepared to take a roll call vote of those elected officers. And I will acknowledge Mr. Wayne Anthony Ross for one clarification briefly.
Could you tell us the name of the witness and where she's come from to testify?
The name of the witness is Renee Wall. She's the former secretary and was involved from the Kenai Peninsula District 34, former District 34.
Did she come all the way from the Kenai?
All the way from the south on the roads such as they are.
With that comment, we will move on. Ms. Julie Gillette, are you ready for the roll call vote?
I am ready. So, just a point of order to clarify, a yes is to allow the witness and a no is to not allow.
The yes is to allow both parties 4 minutes
Okay.
to present additional information and call witnesses, adjusting the orders of the day.
Okay. Randy Rudrick,
Yes.
Steve Culligan,
Yes.
Ralph Seekins,
Yes.
Debbie Joslin,
Yes.
Alice Leica.
Yeah.
Okay. Becca Zerps,
Yes.
Rick Shattuck,
Yes.
Jason Rampton,
Yes.
Steve Straight,
Yes.
Bruce Schulte,
Yes.
Mike Tarianen,
Yes.
Paulette Simpson,
Yes.
Bert Steven, and Myrna Maynard.
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Okay, the yeas have it. I will applaud people for their consideration in treating everything fairly here, and ask that you continue your respect for each other as we move forward. At this time, we would like to have the defendant allow up to 4 minutes.
Responded.
Up to 4 minutes to respond and call a witness. I would ask that if our secretary is ready with the timer. I know you're.
So hold on, let me reset the
We can give you
timer to
just a
4
second.
minutes now. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so our secretary is ready with the timer. Ms. Brown, at this time, you have up to 4 minutes to call a witness, and then followed by Mr. Rudrick, can call witnesses or has additional 4 minutes. Please proceed.
Yes. Mrs. Renee Wall from Kenai Peninsula, please introduce yourself and thank you for reading your letter.
Hi, I'm Renee Wall, District
Well, former
Nice
District
and loud
34.
so they can hear you all the way to
This is actually loud for me. I'll try harder. Okay. Former District 34 Secretary and currently District 28. And I'd just like to read a letter that I have also submitted to the SEC for this evening, dated yesterday, January 16th, addressed to Steve Colligan, regarding, it's my response to the chairman's complaint against Debbie Brown. Dear Mr. Vice Chairman, this letter is in response to ARP Chairman Randy Rudrick's complaint submitted to you on January 2nd, 2013 against Debbie Brown, which includes mention of me, Renee Wall, as Secretary of former District 34. As a point of fact, it should be noted that ARP staff did not provide any instruction to the District 34 Chairman or the bonus vote SEC members about how to correctly appropriate district funds before the March 10, 2012 district convention, where District 34 was to be dissolved. Not even a rough estimate of population shift was provided. I assumed this was because the redistricting plan had not yet been approved by the State of Alaska's Supreme Court. Just days before the 2012 district convention on March 10th, I spoke with Debbie Brown about our perceived dilemma. Our District 34 was about to be dissolved, and we had no instruction on how the District 34 funds could accurately be divided to the new districts. We did not want the funds to be orphaned, with no existing district or officers attached to them. The District 34 chairman approved that the District 34 treasurer transfer the funds at the district convention with the understanding that the funds would be correctly divided between the new districts after the redistricting plan was approved and guidance from ARP was received. I concurred. We also agreed that a simple and traceable way to transfer the funds was in debit card form. Certainly, gas cards could be divided and utilized by the new districts for official district business. The ARP chairman's point that no minutes of these conversations were taken is accurate. I understand, in hindsight incorrectly, that I was to take minutes at in-person meetings. The matter of transferring district funds was discussed over a series of phone calls between officers. We never spoke of using the funds, but simply the best way to transfer them. Thus, I did not consider District 34 was making an expenditure that necessitated minutes, but rather that the treasurer's financial records would sufficiently reflect the transfer. Debbie Brown's actions were neither clandestine nor self-serving, as State Chairman Rudrick claims. The District 34 chair and treasurer acted on the concurrence of all but one of the District 34 officers. Mrs. Brown did attempt to contact bonus vote Mike Torianen by visiting his workplace. She left a message for him to call her, but he did not. The funds were transferred as best as we could and not used for any unauthorized purpose. Chairman Rudrick's complaint is unfair and misleading, and I request that it be entirely disregarded. Sincerely, Renee Wall, former Secretary, 34.
Time left.
21 seconds.
I will just relinquish those seconds.
Okay. So at this time, we move forward, orders of the day. Mr. Rudrick, you have, as soon as the secretary is ready, 4 minutes to present further evidence or comment regarding this case.
I will try to save some time from the closing and move it forward at this time, since I believe I have a fair amount of discretion. First of all, comments from Chairman Hawkins I have no difference with. His district received an asset, and he has tried to resolve the problem. I commend him for that. Secondly, I have listened to the 13th version, maybe it's only the 9th, of what really happened in Ms. Wall's comments. I do not know what Ms. Wall is attempting to do. Ms. Brown was very adamant on tape. I was quite pleased that I had a full rendition of what was said, because I found it remarkable how whenever something was suggested as being a problem, the facts of the case were altered. Now we hear, after going to the meeting in District 30's convention and delivering the dowry, Ms. Wall suggests that it was envisioned to comply with the rules. I would like to ask Ms. Brown and Ms. Wall, have either of you read the rules relative to Article 9, Section 7 before this came up? Ms. Brown?
I don't think that I was thinking about the rules, no, I don't,
As a district officer?
I have read the
just-
rules. Look, I have read the rules. You know, I have read the rules all through, various times. But when redistricting was going on, and the court had not made its decision, I did not read it. I just knew, we knew that we needed to.
The court had made a decision, the board had made a decision, that was the driving force. The rules needed to be modified. We worked through that at the September 11 Central Committee meeting to allow us to proceed to have a preference poll in 12.
I just need to emphasize, I was not the treasurer. I
Were you at the
was
Central
not the
Committee?
treasurer, so the treasurer has the duties to do all of these actions that you're talking about. So there is an error, a fundamental error, in that you continually pursue that I should be involved in actions that were not my actions. So, no.
You're asking questions.
As a district leader, I'm not talking about your duties as treasurer, I'm talking your duties as district leader, which you were clearly indicating were de minimis. I have nothing further.
Mr. Seekins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move